Hi students, we're going to talk more about coding data. And this short video is going to focus on how to move data from Excel to SPSS. So I want you to do first off is to go ahead and open IBM SPSS on your computer. And sometimes you need to turn my video off to be able to open SPSS. SPSS does take up quite a bit of RAM. So sometimes when we're in class, you might want to be on Zoom with me on your cell phone or your tablet and have SPSS and Excel open on your computer. If you need to stop the video and go ahead and make sure to get IBM open, and then make sure you know where your data file is located. In the previous video, we just saved our data file as ethical sample. So go ahead and get that located. And if you need to stop, please do. All right. We'll go ahead and get started. I saved it as Data in Brief because that's the journal that I published this data set in, and it's in our early adulthood sample. And now we only have 445 people, and I called it ethical. Okay, so on my computer, I know that I did step one. I cleaned out any artifacts that we did in previous weeks of calculating and using formulas in Excel. And I know that the 17-year-olds aren't in there. Okay, so make sure you've done that and you save it on your computer for all the rest of the assignments throughout the semester. All right, so I have this file open. I know where it's located, but I want to go ahead and close this file. And I'm going to go ahead and go ahead and load IBM. SPSS was purchased by IBM a few years ago. And mine is loading. Let me share my other screen with you. Being angry, so I'll share a new screen. All right, I hope you can now see my screen. And what we're looking at is our SPSS data file, and it looks almost identical as Excel, which is why moving our Excel data file into SPSS will be super easy. What you can see along the top, we have VAR representing variables. So that means each column should be representing a variable in our study. And the rows, 1, 2, 3, each of those would represent a person, a real human that participated in our study. Our study number 1 was IRB approved by all institutions involved. And number 2, people were informed about what this study would include, and they were 18 and older and were able to give us consent to participate and share their thoughts, behaviors, and attitudes anonymously, right? Okay, now we have SPSS open. And we know where our Excel document is, but our Excel document is now closed. If your Excel document is open, you're going to get an error message. Okay. All right. We're going to File, Open Data. Super simple. File, Open Data. Go ahead and follow along with me, please. If you do not see these options, and maybe they're a little bit different if you're on a Mac, let me know, and I can send you some other videos, okay? But the toolbar on Mac is just separate, but it's still available, okay? So when we have File, Open Data, it's going to ask us where do we want our data? The very first thing that will make you cry and email me in the middle of the night because you're in distress is that if you don't change your file type, okay, we don't want any of you in distress. So make sure you change your file type. It's already looking for an SPSS file because it's SPSS, right? We need to tell it, no, please locate our Excel file. So here you can see it's saying SPSS statistics.sav. That's our file type for SPSS. We'll have that soon, but let's click on this little caret. We want to go to Excel. If you have downloaded someone else's data and they have a CSV file, just right here, or SAS or Stata, this data set is Excel. So let's go ahead and say we want to look for Excel. That's going to tell you all these things that are on my desktop. And what we need to do is click on our data in brief sample 445 ethical. I hope you can find that on your computer and click open. We're going to get this really nice dialog box. It's going to say, how do you want to read your Excel file? What worksheet in your Excel file do you want to open? And we want to open that first one. That has our sample in it. We don't want our code book or other ancillary information. So let's go ahead and open up our first worksheet that has our raw data in it. This first check, or all three of these are already selected by default. The first one says to read the variable names from the first row of data. And that was the problem with Excel. In Excel, our first row isn't a person, it's our variable names. SPSS integrates our variable names into the data set. So row 1 in SPSS is our first person that took the study. So that is one unique difference between the two products, but both are easy to navigate around. Okay, we want our percentages of values that determine data type. 95% is okay, and ignore hidden rows and columns. In Excel, you can hide columns, but SPSS, we want to expand all of those. Sometimes we hide columns because maybe it has an ID number or some kind of identifier that makes our data less anonymous. We really want to be careful. If there are any identifiers in our data set, we do not want it on a device that is not password protected. Okay. This data set's all de-identified, so we're good to go. Let's go ahead and hit OK. Okay, now here is our data set. And I said I was going to be quick, so I'll try to be as quick as possible. Now we have our university. Instead of it being at row 1, it's now integrated into the data set. So now row 1 is our first person. Maybe that's Betsy, okay? And row 2 would be Bob, and so forth and so on. Now, these are Oklahoma students just like you who participated in this study. And I want you to utilize this data set throughout the semester as you analyze things that are interesting to you. And what we want to do very first off is save this data file, because now we've cleaned it and now we've merged it from Excel into SPSS. We need to save it to that folder for your class, okay? So you can access it later. When we save it, when we go File, Save As, it's dataset untitled 2 and it's .sav. So why don't we call it ethical dataset for 45. And it's going to be a .sav file. So you could go ahead and save it, put it in. I have it here as my desktop, but if you want to make a folder, I highly recommend it. Now you have an Excel file that I had you download from the course or from the Data in Brief journal. Then we cleaned that data set. So now you had a new Excel file with the word ethical. And now we have a .sav file. We're going to utilize all three throughout the semester. Remember that the Excel data set has the code book in tab 2. SPSS, if we look down here at the bottom, is different from Excel. We have 2 tabs. We have data view. We have 3 tabs actually. Overview, but we don't really use that. But data view and variable view. And in another lecture, we'll talk about variable view. But I hope that this was helpful, a quick video on how to move an Excel or CSV file into SPSS. Works exactly the same. Make sure to save it so you have it later. Thanks a lot. Appreciate your time.